Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Pallet of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to an exciting new Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer video. Now, before we jump into all of that, don't forget to hit the like button and of course if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button to get more videos like this in your inbox whenever I release them. Now, as you may be aware, there have of course been several different Warhammer Partworks magazines released over the last few years. Firstly, we started off with Warhammer 40k Conquest, which pitted the Space Marines against the Death Guard units, and you had some really cool models in there, pretty much all from the, not the most recent edition of Warhammer 40k, but the edition before that. Then, after that, we got Warhammer Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms, which had everything from Soul Wars and kind of Volume 2 of good Age of Sigmar. We got Stormcast Eternals, we got a load of Nighthaunt models, we got some really good stuff in there, and some fairly chumpish stuff, but it was really good fun. And currently, we're actually in the middle and getting towards the back end of Warhammer 40k Imperium magazine, which this one pits, of course, the Imperium of Man in the shape of the Space Marines, Adeptus Sororitas and Adeptus Mechanicus against the legions of Necrons. And we've had a lot of units in this and some really good ones. And the magazine has also been extended by 10 issues, where we get some pretty cool other minis as well, which bring even more value for money with these issues. So there's been some really good stuff over the past few years in terms of Partworks magazines. And of course, that's not going to be it though. There is going to be one more Partworks magazine at the very least, which is Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer. Now, this new magazine features new Stormcast Eternals. It also has some Cadron Overlords and Sylvaneth minis to go up against in combat for forces of destruction in the shape of the new Cruel Boys Uruks, some of the Ironjaws, Gloomspike kits, and even a Man Crusher Gargant as well from the Sons of Bahamut. Fantastic units, and some really good ones in there. So we even have the new Stormdrakes for the Stormcast Eternals, and they look really cool, as well as some new scenery, some paints as well, and bits like that. So, of course, this isn't the first magazine, and it's not also the first time we've heard of this magazine. So, the first time this magazine was announced was over 12 months ago. It was trialled almost 12 months ago for the first time, but after that first initial trial, Hatchet Partworks went really quiet on it, and they did a second trial towards the back end of last year, and then finally it's going to hit shelves. Now, of course, all this information has been revealed by Foehammer.com, who provide some awesome articles not only for Partworks magazines like Stormbringer and Imperium magazine, but they also have some articles on some fantastic other areas of hobby, including from tools, paints, 3D printers and much more. So definitely worth checking those guys out. But with all of this, of course, there is a cost to these magazines. So before we jump into everything else, let's go through the cost. So the cost is, for the entire magazine collection, about £710 20p. Sounds like a lot of money, but you are spreading that out over 80 weeks. So, but you get a good bit of bang for your buck with this magazine. You get a sizable force of minis, which is worth in the region of £1,331. That's at RRP. Now, this is before Games Workshop have announced any kind of price hikes, which they inevitably will. They will bump up a bit of pricing. They already announced some towards it a couple of months ago, and they will bump a few more up, I imagine. So that is before this, so you will get it a lot of saving for a lot of minis and over a gradual amount of time. So really good fun, and of course it teaches you how to play, so it saves you buying them cool rule books and other bits and pieces to get going with it. You can get going out of the bag with these magazines and get going straight away. All you're going to need is to buy some glue, in all honesty, and some clippers and some stuff to trim off excess bits of plastic. But really cool stuff there. So a lot to look forward to, in all honesty. Now, one of the most important parts, as revealed on Foehammer.com, of course, is the fact that this magazine will be hitting shelves on the 15th of February 2023 here in the UK. Now, that's not very far away, and in all honesty, it gives us only a small amount of time to try and clear the backlog of plastic that you may have from Christmas, or if you've been collecting Imperial magazine, and unfortunately you might be like me, where you've not been keeping up with the painting because time is important and you don't have a lot of time to get on with it. But really, really good stuff. I can't wait for this magazine. I am really, really looking forward to it because I do really enjoy the Age of Sigmar scenario. Now, not only do we have the release date, we of course can actually go through what Warhammer.com have revealed as what we're getting in the first 10 issues of the magazine, and we have some really good stuff. Now, first off, we have a Knight Incarnum in issue 1 with and a killer boss with Stabgrot from the Oryx. So we have one hero from the good old Stormcast Eternals, and we have one hero leader for our Cruel Boy Oryx and his little Stabgrot as well that hangs around him, in all honesty. We'll also get a battle mat, a small battle mat, and we'll also get 6 dice as well as to kind of get us going. And we're playing, we'll get a bit of information on how to get going with it. So, with these, obviously, we've got a pretty decent amount of minis there, and they're pretty cool. They look really good. These are the minis you can get from pretty much anywhere. You can get them with a Warrior edition of the Age of Sigmar box if you wanted to. You can get them with, I think they come with one of the other magazines, the Start Collecting magazine, I can't remember. But they're pretty cool. They are some really, really good units. And these new Oryx, a little bit lighter armoured and a little bit skinnier, and everything's very swampy based, but they look really, really cool. And the Stabgrot is one of the kind of funniest little units that you can get in the whole game, in my opinion. He just looks pretty cool. Now, moving on to issue 2. Issue 2, we get our first set of 10 Auric Gut Rippers. Now, 10 Auric Gut Rippers is your basic number for one kind of group of them. They have these spears, they are pretty gnarly, they carry shields, have that pretty damn cool face on them, and they are really, really good. Now, I do kind of like the Gut Rippers. I think they look pretty gnarly and a bit different, a bit interesting. So this is pretty decent. You get normally these with the Extremist edition, and it's, you can get them from there, or you can get them on their own in boxes, and I think the boxes come as 20, but not 10. But yeah, really, really good stuff. So this is the type of stuff that you got with the Dominion box if you bought that originally when the new version of Age of Sigmar came out. And, that's not all of it, of course. So, we're going to get 5 Stormcast Vindictors. Obviously not to be confused with Vindicators, but these are Vindictors. These are your standard troops for the Stormcast Eternals. I kind of like them. I kind of like their armour style. Their armour style is pretty neat. And I do really, really, really much prefer their new shields. The new shields look a lot nicer, a lot better, and I must admit, I genuinely think they're improved. Now, with these, the image that I'm putting on here is actually showing 10 models on here, which include alternate poses. So you can have a banner carrier, you can have the arms slightly changed position, so you can have them in a fighting stance or a kind of not so fighting stance, and much more, and stuff like that. So they do look really cool. You can occasionally get different heads for some of them as well, so you can have the helmetless heads, but generally having them all helmeted isn't a bad idea, in all honesty. Then issue 4 is a paint issue, our first paint issue, and we actually get a decent amount of paint out of this. We get 4 pots of paint, we get Retributor Armour, we get Lead Belcher, we get Cantor Blue, and we get Auric Flesh as well. Now, all of these are very, very good. If you are painting the normal Hammers of Sigmar paint scheme, these are fantastic paints. If you're not, in all honesty, your Retributor Armour and your Cantor Blue may not be very handy to you, but they probably will come in handy later on. But, they're not bad. We will also get a paintbrush in this, and not going to lie, the paintbrush is crap. It is their starter paintbrush. It is the most horrible brush you will ever use. I honestly would recommend people going out and buying some from Poundland over buying a overusing for starter brush from this, use it as your base coat brush for anything detail. Get some decent brushes. You can get them from WH Smith's, you can get them online, you can get Artis Opus ones if you want to spend a lot of money. Rosemary & Co, who make the Artis Opus ones, and a lot of other ones. So it's up to you, but I personally only use it for base coating. Don't use it for anything else because it is a really, really crap brush. Now, as with all the other magazines that have released, issue 5 is a pretty damn good one. Now, issue 5 is always the hero and the exclusive mini that you can only get with the magazine. Now, with this one, it is a Praetor hero from the Stormcast Eternals. So, with this, it is a pretty decent pose. Warhammer have had the first image for it, which is a fantastic image. It looks really good. I like this one. I think it looks pretty damn cool. Now, of course, with this one, we've had other heroes before with different magazines. So we had a Primaris captain before. We've had good old units from one of the last Age of Sigmar one was a Stormcast Eternal hero, and this one is a really good one as well. I must admit, I like the pose on this one. It looks pretty kind of standard, heroic, and a bit more interesting at the same time. So really good stuff there. Issue 6 is another one that is going to be really, really good. Now, if you are an Auric player, you're going to want to buy a few of these because these are really, really fun. These are your Hobgrot Slitters. You get 10 in a pack, and this could be quite good fun. Now, the Hobgrot Slitters are obviously different colour from your standard Auric, and they are because they are Hobgrots. They are not your normal grots or anything like that. So, definitely worth picking these up. Buy a couple if you're going to field an Auric army. Definitely worth getting a couple of these because they're quite fun and they're a bit different to look at, and they just have that little bit of an edge to them, as well as having some gnarly looking knives in the hands which look pretty fun. Now, moving on to issue 7, it is our second paint issue. Now, this one is going down in my estimation because it's not worth a lot, in all honesty. It's a bit hit and miss. So for issue 7 we get Catachan Flesh paint, and we get Corax White. But that's it. 2 pots of paint, which is, neither here nor there really. The less said about it, probably the better, in all honesty. It's, could be better. I mean, Flesh paint will do well. Corax White can be quite handy. But paint issues are a little bit dull, aren't they? Now, the other thing we get with issue 8, issue 8 is a pretty decent one. So we get the Lord Imperatant, and we also get his Gryph-hound as well. So these are models that you can get in the Extremist box, and he's pretty cool. He's carrying a nice big Warhammer. He's got some more ornate plate to him, a few more tassels and stuff like that, and a little bit more kind of scenery bits on his base as well. You can have him helmeted or not helmeted, entirely up to you, but he looks pretty cool. His Gryph-hound is a Gryph-hound, not a lot to it. They are the same generically, really. I do kind of like them though, in all honesty. They're pretty good. Issue 9 is another Auric issue, and we get the Swamp Caller Shaman and Potgrot. Now, I like the Swamp Caller Shaman. I do have one, because I bought the Dominion box, and I have painted mine up, and his Potgrot as well, and it looks good. I do genuinely like the model. I think it's a pretty cool model. It's a really nice sculpt. It's a magic using Auric, which is pretty cool, and just genuinely like it. It's really good stuff. So kind of looking forward to getting another one and painting it in a slightly different way and style as well. So I am looking forward to that. And then finally, in issue 10, we get Xandri's Truth Seekers. Now, these ones are the warband from the Stormcast Eternal range that you could only get in the Harrow Deep box. So, as far as I'm aware, these haven't been released singularly yet, and they are pretty cool. So you have some really, really nice minis in there. I must admit, the Underworld's warbands are probably some of the best Warhammer minis you can get. They look fantastic. They have pretty cool poses. They're unique as well, and but they're unique enough to a point where they still fit in with your army. I genuinely like them. They're really good. So I think this will be really, really popular. I'm looking forward to getting these guys because they're pretty cool, and yeah, genuinely happy with what we're going to get in them first 10 issues, in all honesty. So, really good stuff. Now, as you can tell, I'm really happy with what we get in them first 10 issues, as I've just said. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. But with that said, thank you very much for watching this extended length video. I don't normally do a 15-minute long video, in all honesty, but this is really good stuff, and I'm really excited to get going with this magazine, and I hope you are too. So, drop us a comment down below, hit the like button, subscribe, all that stuff, and I shall see you sometime very soon, I imagine. Bye bye now.